How weird has this college football season been? Well, we're talking about Kansas and Oklahoma State being one of the most important games of the second weekend in November. You know what, folks? It's absolutely fantastic for college football. Hey, how are you? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on the Toyota College Football Preview. It's number 5 Kansas, 4th, though, in the BCS, and undefeated. That is 9-0. They are at a wounded Oklahoma State that not once, but twice last week gave up a 21-point lead at home against Texas. And for more on the game, we bring in Spencer Tillman, as we do every week from Houston. And Spence, Kansas is having its best season since 1908, 9-0. But they seem like they have a lot left to prove, and that win against Nebraska really showed it by 76 points. If they win out, and that also would include probably 2 victories against top 10, maybe even top 5 BCS teams. If they run the table, do you think they deserve to be in the BCS title game?
That's a tough one. Again, it depends on what LSU does. If LSU holds serve and wins the SEC championship, I think a one-loss LSU team would be considered stronger than a Kansas would. So I think they would be bumped in that case. Ohio State, of course, hold and serve, and they would be the other team. So if that answers your question, I think not.
Well, the obvious that you could point to is the fact that Kansas's non-conference schedule was awful. LSU played Virginia Tech, so that's something you can.
But let me make this point. I'm not saying that I don't believe they deserve to be there. I'm thinking in terms of the general public and the voters' attitude toward the jersey that the folks at LSU wear. I'm talking about tradition here. Doesn't mean that Kansas doesn't necessarily deserve to be there. Their tradition in football is not strong enough to trump what LSU has, and so from that standpoint, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, we still have 3 weeks to get to that point to see if Kansas can actually earn its way to even being in the conversation, and then they could call Tommy Tuberville and Auburn and have their discussion about what it's like to be left out. But
right,
you know, one of the big reasons for the turnaround this season for a school that doesn't necessarily have that tradition is the offense. Second in the nation in points per game, over 46 a game, and obviously the 76 they hung on Nebraska, scoring 10 touchdowns on 10 straight possessions. You don't have to look any further, though, to see the improvement in the quarterback, and that's Todd Reesing. He's been fantastic.
He has been fantastic, and he's not the quintessential, prototypical quarterback, but he just makes plays. He's got a homegrown kid at running back that supports him extremely well. And again, Mark Mangino is a great mind. If you remember his stop there at Oklahoma in 2000 when they won the national title, he was the architect of that offensive system. So that little cup of coffee that he had there proved to be something that he could carry over at Kansas, and it's been really fun to watch him.
And what do you like to call Mark Mangino, just to get that out there?
That would be William Conrad, a.k.a. Cannon. A Quinn Martin production.
I just thought I'd want to let everybody else in on that one as well. Todd Reesing last week, he did break the school record. He had 6 touchdown passes. But their defense is also good as well, Spence. They lead the Big 12 in total defense. Seems like the total package, but here come the Pokes, the Cowboys, and they have dynamic weapons that maybe Kansas has not seen yet this season.
Particularly wide receiver Darius Bowman. They've not seen a guy as big and strong and as fast as him at wide receiver. That's a problem. Dantrell Savage, the running back there at Oklahoma State, is pretty solid. He's got tremendous speed as well. And they've got guys that are deep, too. They're 3 or 4 deep at those skill positions. So the question for them is consistency. I mean, they blow a 21-point lead. They have Texas on the ropes, a chance to really reverse the tide in that series, and they let it get away from them. So consistency is really the issue that Coach Gundy's got to deal with.
Well, that and the fact that he's going to have to outscore Kansas. Last year they rolled up more than 600 yards in the meeting. Basically the same players on offense for both sides. Obviously a different feel to this game. Spence, Kansas is trying to start 10-0 for the first time since 1899. You're from Oklahoma. You know you just don't roll into Boone Pickens Stadium, though, and leave with a victory, do you?
You don't, but here's the thing. They're doing it with Oklahoma players. I mean, Mangino has done to Oklahoma what Oklahoma does to Texas. That comes in and plucks their homegrown kids out. So I like the talent that's in Oklahoma. So they're basically playing Oklahoma at Lawrence, Kansas. So at the end of the day, they're going to win.
So you like Kansas to win, even though they've lost 5 straight in the series. Spence, we will see how it works out. We'll watch the game Saturday night together. We will see you then.
All right, Jason. We'll see you.
Folks, the game is in prime time. It kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern, and it should be a very, very entertaining football game. For more on this one or any other, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.